back where the lights don't lie. The wolves are watching in Moscow, Idaho.
Yeah, they said it's open and shut, case on ice. But the facts keep shifting under courtroom lights. Evidence tagged, locked in a sheet, but the truth cuts deeper. It's a double-edged sword beneath. Cameras roll, opinions fly, truth's in the dirt, but it won't die. Every headline's got a twist or two. Four souls whisper, we're counting on you. Moscow's calling, truth don't hide. Shadows talk on the witness side. We ain't buying every show they sell. There's a storm in Idaho and it's raising hell.
Courtroom drama on a primetime feed. Everybody talking about what they think they need. Evidence, sealed deals under the table, but justice ain't blind, she's bleeding unstable.
Welcome to True Crime Unleashed. How are you guys doing tonight? What I want to get into tonight is the fact that I feel like we've been lied to from day one in the Brian Koberger case, from the PCA to the shoddy investigation in this case. And I read through the documents, and you guys know I read through the documents. But what is true in the documents and what is a flat-out lie? That's where I'm coming from. What is actually factual in the documents, and what is a fabricated lie? From DM and Bethany's statements during their interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. Why do we always hear, oh, they were killed in their sleep, they were killed in their sleep? We don't technically know that they were killed in their sleep. We don't. We don't know if they were killed in their sleep. Who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe Kathy Mabbitt? I don't believe her. Because if they were all in bed asleep, why was Xana allegedly awake and on her TikTok at 4:12 a.m.? Why did she order DoorDash around 4 a.m.? That's what got me puzzled, guys. All these inconsistencies in this case, in the narrative. For God's sakes, Dylan didn't even have an alibi for that night. She didn't. Everyone in this case was accounted for via alibi, except for her. Nobody knew where she was that night. Up until 4 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the morning, watching Vampire Diaries with a friend of hers. there's more going on in this case. Yes, Brian was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences in prison, but it's just the outright gall in this case. The fact that we've been fed so many false narratives, not just by Bill Thompson, not just by Slashley Jennings, not just by Trashley Banfield or Nancy Grace or Brian Anton, but mainly Olivia Gonzalez, Steve Gonzalez, Christy Gonzalez. They are the perpetrators of this narrative from day one. From day one, they've been doing their narrative pushing on Nancy Disgrace, on Ashley Banfield, on Brian Anton, on Fox News. And I'd like to ask a question. It was a question that Dago brought up earlier. Why, being married, is Olivia Gonzalez not using her married name? She's still going by Gonzalez. The way it feels to me, she's trying to cash in on her dead sister by continuing to use the Gonzalez last name, even though she's married. I feel like that 15 minutes of fame line that, oh, yeah, Judge Stephen Hypocrite said to Brian about he had his 15 minutes of fame. Well, I'd like to extend that by the Gonzalez family has had their 15 minutes of fame. Why are they still on our TV screens after he was sentenced? Why? You don't see Ben Mogan. You don't see the Chapins. You don't see the Kara or Jeff Kernodle. But you're seeing Olivia Gonzalez, Christy Gonzalez, and Steve Gonzalez. Why? The case is, as far as they put it, the case is over with. But in a lot of our minds, it's not over with. Because of people like Olivia, because of people like Steve, because of people like Christy Gonzalez, because of people like Judge Hypocrite, because of people like Bill Thompson. And don't forget Judge John Judge. Because of all the bias in this case. They think it's an open and shut slam dunk case. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a slam dunk case. Like DM stated in the probable crap affidavit, that she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. And then she also stated at approximately 4 a.m. She was awoken by what sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, where she said in the initial body cam that she heard screaming. She heard what sounded like Kaylee screaming from upstairs. So why? So what? The? I got jumbled here. I was gonna say something. So why the double-sided bullshit for Dylan? Why did she say originally in the body cam that she heard screaming coming from Kaylee, but in the PCA she said what sounded like Kaylee playing with her dog. It just feels like, I don't know why. It feels like Dylan is protected by the Moscow Police Department, because during her alleged interview, which was 5 minutes, 5 minute interview, which should have been longer. It should have been longer. She was handed softball questions, nothing of substance. They just wanted to corroborate the timeline or corroborate what she saw. But how do we really even know what she really saw? Because she was drunk that night. And she's even stated that in her one of her interviews, you know, typewritten interviews, that she really didn't know if it was real or a dream because she was intoxicated. But yet, if this thing would have went to trial, you would have had her up on the witness stand, probably lying her ass off on the witness stand. Well, of course, we know that the prosecution would have gave her softball questions, but Ann Taylor wouldn't have gave her softball questions. Ann Taylor would have ripped her to shreds on the witness stand. But we'll never get to see that because of this plea deal, which I think is a bullshit plea deal. I really do. Judge Hippler, or should I say Judge Hypocrite, didn't want this case in his courtroom. He's stated it numerous times. He didn't want this case. What's the best way to get the case out of your courtroom? Plea deal. But I'm not sure on the particulars of if it was the defense that came with the plea deal or if it was the prosecution. Because all I know is, it royally pissed off the Gonzalez family. They didn't want the plea deal. They wanted to see Brian pew-pewed. And you could tell it royally pissed them off with their victim impact statements. And then, yeah, DM said she heard who she thought was Kaylee saying something to the effect that there's someone here, in which even the police kind of threw her under the bus for that, with a review of records obtained from forensic downloads of Xana's phone showed that could have been Xana, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12. Well, here's the thing. The TikTok app is not proof of life. For all we know, they could have been unalived an hour before at 3 o'clock. Because if you look at it, why would Kaylee ring and ring and ring and why would Kaylee blow up her ex-boyfriend's cell phone? Why would Maddie blow up Jack D's cell phone? Now I've heard something that that Maddie and Bethany had Murphy outside going potty, and Murphy ran away from them and went straight to this straight to the bushes on the back side of the house. And then Maddie went upstairs, told Kaylee what happened, but there's more stuff coming out. There's more stuff coming out that even I have to look at it and go, WTF. Like, we were lied to from the very beginning. We were. We were lied to about everything in this case. So when we go through the documents, it makes me ask a question to myself. Am I looking at something factual? The stuff I'm reading in the documents, is it factual or is it rainbows, gumdrops, and fairy tale bullshit? Is it all made up? Is it all fabricated? Because when that initial document dump came out from the MPD, the same day he was sentenced, I thought looking at it, everything would be clear and concise and everything else. No, it was not. It was dribble. That's all it was. It was dribble. Everything in this case is dribble. It really is. Everything in this case is dribble. So exactly why is this man sitting in prison? When clearly the evidence. Oh yeah, that's right. The evidence that Bill Thompson stated that they had enough to convict him, but yet he stood up there during the sentencing, and it went on and on and on and on, but never even talked about the actual evidence. Oh well, we had no motive. There was no connection between Mr. Koberger and the the victims at 1122. There was no indications that he was ever stalking them. But yet, but yet, during his sentencing, you had Olivia standing up there saying that she knows that he was stalking her sisters, even though Bill Thompson sat there a couple of times, once at the sentencing and once in the prior hearing. There was no evidence of stalking, none. So why don't you, Miss Gonzalez, get off your soapbox? Your 15 minutes of fame is over and done with. You guys got the justice that you want, well, for one, you didn't want, but you got justice. Why don't you stop your yapping on these shows and disappear into the background like the rest of the families? Like always, guys, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that bell for all the notifications, from any new uploads I do. You also have a good Saturday. This is True Crime Unleashed. I'm out, guys. Peace.